You're always safe with John Dolittle. Remember that. He always has extraordinary good luck. He may have his troubles, but with him things seem to have a habit of turning out all right in the end. I have set out to read all of the Newbery Award winners. Up next, number 2 from 1923, The Voyages of Doctor Dolittle by Hugh Lofting. Hugh Lofting was born in England but moved to the United States in 1912. He was an author, a surveyor, and a civil engineer. He traveled pretty extensively. He served as a soldier in the British Army in World War I, and that's when he started writing letters to his children, including a funny little man named John Dolittle, and those he turned into a series of books. The Voyages of Doctor Dolittle is actually the second book in the series, but we are introduced to the Doctor through the eyes of young Tommy Stubbins, who meets him for the first time because he has an injured squirrel that he needs the Doctor's help with. Tommy is all of 9.5 years old, but has always dreamed of traveling the world, so he convinces his parents to let him work for Dr. Dolittle in exchange for room, board, and the chance to learn what the Doctor knows and to travel with him on his next adventure. After several adventures at home, they set out on a voyage to find the floating island of Spider Monkey Island in order to find the great self-taught naturalist Long Arrow who has gone missing. Through a variety of troubles and problems, they finally get to the island where they encounter even more troubles. But of course, in the end, they overcome them and eventually make their way back home to England. I really like the episodic feel of the book. There are these different adventures that they go through even before they leave on their voyage. A murder trial, they encounter a shipwreck, and whales and stowaways, all kinds of different things, and each of them is sort of a discrete adventure while still being part of the larger arc of the story. There's a really big focus in this book on Dr. Dolittle's compassion and kindness. He is particularly interested in learning animal languages, but he is also very caring of the people that he comes across, even the ones that he doesn't like or that cause him problems. He is rarely cruel or mean-spirited. One thing I found interesting, being somewhat familiar with the lore of Dr. Dolittle, but not having read the books except maybe the first one when I was very young, is that anyone can learn animal languages, that this is not some sort of magic skill that John Dolittle has, which is something that I had in my mind, but that he is learning as a linguist all of these different languages, just as you might study different human languages, and that Tommy Stubbins is able to start learning how to talk to the animals as well. I think that kids would find that really fun and probably spend time trying to figure out how to talk to their pets or animals that they found out in the yard. Reading this as an adult, there are some heavy themes, though I think kids would probably just read it as an adventure story. There are some problematic elements. It was written in the early 1920s, but it wasn't as bad or as pervasive as I expected it to be, knowing that several of his books had been banned or censored because of racial stereotypes and racial depictions. The non-English characters do have some almost parodic names and characteristics, but they are much more complex and interesting than that, and often portrayed in a very good light, and sometimes even in a better light than some of the English characters that we encounter. When they land on Spider Monkey Island, they find there that the natives of that island don't have fire or some other technological advancement, but they are still shown as having intelligence and having other skills and innovations. There are two particular things that bothered me. While they were on Spider Monkey Island, they have an encounter with an opposing tribe on the island that comes to attack. And immediately, John Dolittle is like, let's talk to them, let's negotiate, let's settle this peacefully. And then within the space of a conversation, like very little time, he immediately just decides to go on the attack. And the violence there from this very mild-mannered man is very startling and really kind of troubling because he doesn't have the full story of what is going on. All we see is from the side of the group that they are with at the moment. So that's the first. The second, later after the battle and after peace has been established, Dr. Dolittle really wants to leave the island to continue his work as a naturalist, to continue his study of animal languages, but he refuses to because he says that if he leaves, the people of the island will turn back to barbaric ways and give up all of the advancement that he has brought to the island. So that's a little unsettling and problematic in the way that that's portrayed. However, overall, this is a really fun story. It's really fun to think about being able to learn how to talk to animals, going on voyages, going through all of these things and having everything come out right in the end and end up safely back home where you can have tea. It's something that I think probably should be read as many books with a child nowadays to talk about some of the things that could be a really good conversation starter. So in conclusion, I understand why these have lasted as long as they have, why there have been movie adaptations, and I think that they could be really fun books to read with purpose. Up next, The Dark Frigate by Charles Boardman Hawes. I know absolutely nothing about this book, so I will be back with a review for that. Thanks!